Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we are going to be talking about Quant Network, aka QNT. So with that being said, let's just dive in and let's talk about the big issue here. So did QNT get pumped and dumped by the team? No. I do think that the sell pressure from the team did happen very oddly close to the announcement around the Bank of England and Quant collaborating, and retail ate this up. What I've always said in the past is that retail is very reactive to FUD and these falsified statements. Now this tweet itself really isn't so much FUD. This one is really kind of just outlining what's been being said over on Twitter as well. ODZ QNT team dumped 30 million plus the past 2 days. Must have some bills to pay. Must not be feeling as bullish as the community. Jokes, but also the truth. Don't come at me triggered. Now, again, when we actually look at what was happening around this time, yes, they did sell, but I did also target this in my tweet that I'm going to bring up here in a second. But remember, almost any project that does have a team tied to it, there's going to be sell pressure. I don't think that the amount of money in terms of these tokens that got sold off was really changing the direction of QNT. I think more so it was the combination of them selling with what retail was saying over on Twitter. But also, there was a lot of misinformation being spread around Ripple being tied to Project Rosalind, which they are not tied to Project Rosalind itself. They are, however, tied to the Bank of England and BIS through a lot of PDF files. But this itself, like this announcement around the Bank of England, there was no tie to Ripple. It's just falsified tweets and information that is being spread over on Twitter as well and outside of Twitter. And we do see from Gilbert Verdi, and he's actually addressing it, saying your article is very inaccurate, contains false information, and is misleading. I suggest you read the Project Rosalind report from the BIS and the Bank of England and report the accurate facts. Ripple was not involved in any way. And then also, this was a big one. An individual tweeted out saying bear markets help you see what is really worth holding and what isn't. Now Quant appears to have quietly moved away from the QNT token itself, and I've sold my remaining holdings. I've got some cash to spare. Absolutely ridiculous. So let's take a look at a few things. So I tweeted out, I actually can't believe the amount of misinformation regarding QNT. The team sold tokens, but it has been outlined in tokenomics. Almost every project that is tied to a company has sell pressure to fund operations. I also find it comical that it's 2023 and people are still trying to question if QNT is utilized at all within Quant operations. People need to do proper research. And again, it's because we've seen statements like this for years now saying QNT, the token itself is not used. QNT is an ERC20 token. QNT is that, QNT is this. And to me, it just, I just don't get it, right? Retail will psych themselves out of an incredible investment opportunity just simply by paying attention to statements like this. Now, listen, there's no question that the token itself got heavily pumped and then it got dumped. Now, was this the team strategically planning this? No, I don't think so. But I do think that it's interesting on how this all played out. Do I agree with the fact that the team sold at the perfect time? Not necessarily. I do think it's kind of odd, but I'm not going to sit here and FUD it, right? Because a lot of these things have been outlined. And when we look at teams, being tied to projects, this happens all the time. We see that sell pressure. Do I think that this is going to stifle any growth on QNT? Absolutely not. And honestly, if you are a retail individual that is looking at QNT and holds QNT and maybe wants to buy more QNT, then you should welcome this massive sell pressure. Also, over the next couple of days, I even outlined that we might see altcoins continue to slide down because of Bitcoin dominance. So if anything, a lot of these tokens will most likely sell off a little bit more. Do I think that QNT is already oversold? I think it was kind of oversold down here anyways. That's why we got this reactive move. This could very well have been our local bottom if, of course, the market doesn't nuke anymore. So I'm still looking at QNT. I'm still watching QNT. And I'm still very bullish on QNT. It's kind of wild to me that we see a lot of these falsified statements and these statements drastically talking about the QNT token itself not being utilized and things like that, and FUD statements at crucial times in the market where people should be looking at these tokens and doing a lot of research, because right now we are seeing a lot of development from the Quant team. And like I said, the token being utilized has already been outlined many times over on Quant's website. For example, we do see Why don't you provide more information about the QNT token? We are building enterprise-grade products and solutions aimed at financial institutions, governments, corporates, and the partners and developers who support them. The QNT token is an integral part of our platform, used most notably to pay for software licenses and sending transactions, but it's not the focus of our efforts. And again, most people will look at this last statement here and play right off of that. To me personally, this statement here is proof that they are not catering to the retail sector. They don't care about the retail sector. And I like that, right? A lot of people think that that's a bad thing. None of these projects, none of them are catering to the retail sector, right? The future around the space is also not retail. It's just not. I don't know how many times I have to say that when we talk about some of these tokens. Like most of these projects, like even Zinfin with XDC, they're not hyping substance for the retail sector. They're here focused on the trade finance space, focused on institutions, banks, governments, the major players. Retail is a small slice of the pie. They've outlined the QNT token use so many times on their website, and it's just wild to me that it's 2023 and we still see these blanketed statements around the token itself. And shout out to SunNL11 because he even responded back with these sections on the website. And again, this individual was talking about how the pump and dump move is simply factual. Listen, you could play into the idea that the team is pumping and dumping the token. I don't believe that that is the case. This is a team that has a very substantial background. Again, I love to see this FUD. I love when the retail sector gets shaken up about things like this because usually it provides you with a buy-in area. Again, we dipped under $100. Perfect area to add for my long-term positions. If you are bullish on QNT, if you know where QNT most likely will be headed in the future, then hey, you'll be looking at this under $100 and say, well, hey, that's a perfect buying opportunity for my long-term bag. Retail is perfect for doing this. And even if you look on CoinMarketCap, like look at the top comments over here on CoinMarketCap. QNT dumped, or the QNT team dumped 30 million in the past 2 days. They talk about how the CEO and the QNT team are going out and buying Ferraris and stuff. Why should I buy QNT tokens and believe the price will rise if the team will dump tokens on the market when the price reaches a high value? I wonder why yesterday and the day before yesterday, the team dumped a quantity of QNT tokens valued at $30 million on the market. Again, you know, if people are looking at this as a very bearish thing, I'm fine with it. You know, most people don't even look into Ethereum. You know, look at Ethereum. The team behind Ethereum, the Ethereum Foundation, they have sold the top on the retail sector many times. I'm not saying that, you know, I'm not sitting here trying to make an excuse for the team. Do I think that this was, you know, very odd how they sold here? Yeah, sure, it is. But I'm not going to change my overall thought process on Quant. I think that Quant is vital for this entire space. And I think that the proof is in this Rosalind collaboration with them. Because, again, this proves that these banks, the BIS, for an example, the BIS knows what DLT is. They know what crypto is. They know about these projects. They understand the efficiencies that these projects could bring to the banking sector and the transactional value behind it as well in terms of making cross-border payments faster and things like that. They understand the benefits here. And I think that these initiatives are proof in that. And also remember, right, like although this information around like Ripple being tied to this, it's false. When you look at what this unlocks for DLTs and projects within the space, it's crucial. I think that the Quant initiative is very crucial. I think that the token itself is going to be very valuable in the future. And I think that a lot of these utility tokens like QNT are vital to the evolution of our financial system. For an example, SunNL11 posted this. They were not lying. But you see today at the Bank of England held a webinar. What would a BOE, Bank of England digital currency, be like? Polls of 1,200 participants shows how a CBDC meets future payment needs. Our important takeaway, the new RTGS will be interoperable with DLTs using an API platform. This is crucial because guess what? This ties directly into XRP being tied into this for cross-border payments. For instance, settlement, you name it. XDC can be tied into this. All of the major players that if you go over to Quant's website and if you go to the how and you go to their platform, click their platform, you scroll down, guess what? This is opening the doors to the blockchain economy. This is the direct connection for the traditional giants to utilize this type of technology in their payment technology, in their trade finance technology, you name it, right? So this is a huge gateway, in my opinion, to the crypto communities and the crypto projects that most people are just overlooking. And most people are FUDing themselves out of an incredible opportunity. And, listen, does it provide great opportunities to those that can see past this FUD and see past this nonsense? 100%. But I do hate to see the retail sector miss out on something like this, because I do think that this is a very, very large opportunity. But hey, we've seen this in the past. Examples, Bitcoin. Most people FUDed themselves out of Bitcoin early on. And look at where Bitcoin went. Most people FUDed themselves out of Ethereum early on. Look at where Ethereum went. We see this happen. It's happened so many times, right? And this is exactly why the retail sector, not everyone will win. It's just that simple. There will be losers, there will be winners. And look at the RTGS total settlements. Daily average. Look at this. This is 748, almost 750 billion pounds per day. Yeah. I don't really care what the retail sector is saying. I don't care what the retail sector is doing. I know fundamentals. I know how crucial this type of technology is. And we even do see, like, while we're memeing that cross-chain delivery versus payment is being overlooked by big banks, they surprised us by actually connecting blockchains directly to RTGS using API gateways. This is huge. So listen, I don't really care about what the retail sector is saying. I care about the facts. And the facts are that the future is crypto. We know that crypto is here to stay. We know that blockchain technology is changing the way these systems react, interact, and also the way that money is moved, settled, and ultimately even made. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on. If you guys have more free content, you guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. It says that you all have a beautiful day or a beautiful night. Wherever you guys are on this beautiful world. It's been Nick. Peace out, guys.